Karen claimed she was being watched, she was trespassing, and got fined. Have you ever wondered what drives someone to destroy something beautiful just because they think no one's watching? In the quiet suburb of Willow Creek, the community garden was a sanctuary, a patchwork of roses, sunflowers, and lavender tended with love by neighbors. It was a place where kids learned to plant seeds and retirees found peace in pruning. But one evening, that peace shattered. Karen Mitchell, a local realtor known for her flashy signs and louder personality, stormed into the garden, claiming it was her right to take what she wanted. She'd been seen before, eyeing the blooms with a strange intensity, but no one expected what came next. With a pair of shears in one hand and a phone in the other, she began hacking at the flower beds, ripping out plants and tossing them into a heap. "This place is a mess anyway," she shouted, as if justifying her rampage to an invisible audience. The truth was uglier than anyone could have imagined. Karen wasn't just taking a few flowers for her open house displays, as she later claimed. She'd been sneaking into the garden for weeks, helping herself to blooms, tools, and even the rare heirloom vegetables grown by Mr. Patel, an elderly gardener who'd spent years perfecting his craft. Neighbors had noticed patches of missing plants but assumed it was animals or kids. Then, a grainy security camera clip surfaced, shared in the neighborhood group chat, showing Karen's SUV parked near the garden's gate at odd hours. She'd been bold, assuming the garden's lack of a full-time guard meant she was untouchable. But she wasn't as invisible as she thought. A motion sensor camera, installed after a previous vandalism incident, caught her every move. And that wasn't all. Karen had been live-streaming her garden hauls on social media, boasting about free decor for her listings, oblivious to the fact that her videos were time-stamped proof of her trespassing. The confrontation erupted on a chilly October evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon. Sarah Nguyen, a soft-spoken nurse who'd spearheaded the garden's creation, had had enough. She'd seen Karen's latest post, flaunting a bouquet of stolen dahlias, and rallied a small group of neighbors to confront her. They arrived just as Karen was yanking up a row of marigolds, her designer boots sinking into the mud she'd created by slicing open a garden hose. "You're being watched, Karen," Sarah called out, her voice trembling with anger. Karen froze, then spun around, her face a mix of shock and defiance. "Watched? By who? You people have nothing better to do than spy on me?" she snapped, clutching a fistful of crushed petals. What Karen didn't know was that the crowd wasn't just neighbors. Among them stood Officer Ramirez, a local cop who lived 2 streets over and volunteered at the garden on weekends. He'd been tipped off by the group chat and had come straight from his shift, still in uniform. "Ma'am, this is private property," he said, stepping forward. "You've been recorded trespassing and damaging community assets." Karen's bravado crumbled as she realized the gravity of her situation. She stammered, claiming she thought the garden was public and that she was just tidying up. But the evidence was undeniable. Her own videos showed her sneaking in after dark, and the camera footage had captured her license plate. Then came the twist no one saw coming. As the neighbors argued with Karen, a quiet figure emerged from the crowd. Mrs. Clara, an 80-year-old widow who rarely spoke at community meetings. She held up her phone, her hands shaking but her voice steady. "You took my roses," she said, her eyes locked on Karen. "The ones I planted for my husband's memory. You sold them at your open house last week. I saw the pictures." The crowd fell silent. Clara's roses were legendary in Willow Creek, a memorial to her late husband, tended with care every morning. Karen's face drained of color. She tried to laugh it off, muttering about a misunderstanding. But the weight of Clara's words hit harder than any accusation. The neighbors, once divided over how to handle Karen's antics, united in their outrage. Karen's downfall was swift and merciless. The community filed a formal complaint, and the footage was handed over to the police. She was charged with trespassing, vandalism, and theft, facing fines totaling $2,500 and 100 hours of community service, ironically, to be served rebuilding the garden she'd wrecked. Her real estate business took a hit as clients dropped her, repelled by the viral story of her greed. Her social media accounts, once filled with glossy listings, went silent after a flood of comments calling her out. At a town hall meeting, she tried to play the victim, claiming she'd been targeted and watched unfairly. But the room met her with icy stares. Clara, sitting in the front row, simply shook her head. In the weeks that followed, the garden became a symbol of resilience. Neighbors rallied to replant, with donations pouring in from across town. Clara's roses were replaced with a new memorial bed, funded by a crowdfunding campaign that raised thousands. Sarah and Officer Ramirez organized workshops to teach kids about gardening, turning the space into a hub of healing. Karen, meanwhile, was spotted hauling mulch under court supervision, her designer boots traded for work gloves, her defiance reduced to sullen silence. The story of Willow Creek's garden is a reminder that actions have consequences, even when you think no one's watching. It's a call to protect what matters, to stand up for what's right, and to remember that a community's strength lies in its unity. What do you think? Did Karen get what she deserved? Or was the punishment too harsh? Share your thoughts below.